One of the interesting subplots in your book is that, by your account at least, the two of you have different parenting styles, or began the business of parenting with different styles. And Amy, you've presented yourself as the celebrated tiger mother, and Jed appears in the book as the voice of moderation, the guy who wants to take the kids to the ball game, to the water slide. And
That's true.
I know it's a challenging issue for all of us who are parents when your styles don't quite align. How did that work for you guys?
Well, you can correct me, but I think this is a surprise to people. We actually didn't have so many arguments until Lulu, my second daughter, was about 13. Lulu's my rebellious daughter who sort of, my two daughters are the heroines in the story, but she really gives me my comeuppance. But my daughter Sophia is here, but I pick out the most extreme moments in the book. The book is a snapshot. And again, if I had known that this book was going to get so much attention and be received as it is, I would have made myself a lot more likable. I mean, it would have been so easy, Like I tell my daughters, I love you every night. I'm actually kind of a huggy person, but I didn't want to write a sentimental book. I put all those things. So we're growing up until Lulu really did. It was an adolescent thing. This is a very universal story, actually, until she rebelled, and that was a very dark period in my life. We really didn't have that much to argue about. I mean, our kids were happy. They had lots of friends. I get this question all the time, but they were very, very social. We have lots of friends. Some of them are in the audience today, and they were, just well-adjusted kids, great musicians, but also sort of happy. And I would say that it was important that I think if you read the book between the lines carefully, you realize that my kids were not raised in a traditional immigrant Chinese family, because half of the family was, completely different. So they were really raised in a hybrid family. I like to think of it as the best of both worlds,
What lessons or advice do either of you have for parents who don't have the same parenting style? What did you learn?
Well, I don't know if we really saw eye to eye pretty much. There was a time, I think it's true, when our younger daughter was having some trouble, and I said that I thought that to Amy, that maybe she ought to pull back, and I think you agreed. And
I think it's funny, I only started analyzing myself afterwards. The book, I've described it as an act of almost like family therapy, and that's really true, because as I read it now, right around the time that Lulu turned 13, and the book is filled with zany showdowns between my daughters and me, which were really, if you read, you see that they always win, right? They call my bluff, they have all the best lines. But when Lulu really gets angry at me at 13, it's around the same time that my younger sister, with whom I'm very close, gets leukemia and has to have a bone marrow transplant. And I think at that time, I sort of like I went a little, crazy. I mean, I think it was part of this need to have control over a situation that I didn't have control over, because I look back on it now. I would drive to Boston like at 10 p.m., get there at 2 in the morning, or do weird things, then drive back, and then like insist on practicing violin at 7 in the morning. I think I just was acting.
Boston being where your sister was.
Oh yeah, she was in the hospital at Boston, and then I would drive to New York. So, and that's when Jed was, I think, we did have a lot of arguments then. I mean, it was essentially a just kind of wake up, stop it, and that was great.
In answer to your question, we didn't have that kind of argument in front of the kids. I mean, it's obvious, cliche thing, but it was always a united front with the kids. So if we quarreled about parenting, we did it behind a door, or at least we thought we did. Maybe we need to ask.
That's hard to do, in my experience, to keep it behind a door.
Oh yeah, they know everything. Yeah.